Hello, welcome back to Zero Waste Wiltshire. We're going to be talking about feminine hygiene products today, so if that's not a thing you're interested in, please look at some other video now and leave this one, and thank you very much. If it is something you're interested in, well, please stay and watch, because I'm going to talk about my experience of zero waste products for periods. There are loads of other videos out there. There are loads of people doing this now, which is great, and there are loads of different products. There are some I haven't tried. I'll talk about those right at the end. But the one I have tried and have been really happy with is menstrual cup. And I started doing this 12 years ago because I was having very light periods. Having had a baby and breastfeeding, I needed a different kind. I couldn't be on the pill because I was breastfeeding. And I have this implant in my arm now, which I'm very happy with. That's my contraceptive implant. But it does mess with your periods a bit. And I've had very light periods ever since. And because I was having such light periods, but they were also quite erratic and they were going on for quite a long time, I was telling one of my friends about this and how, annoying it was. And she said, "Oh, you should try a moon cup like I have." And so I did, and it was great because the best thing about moon cups, in my opinion, is that they're not drying. This is my moon cup. I've had this one about 8 years. This is the second one I've had. If you're wondering, you put them in by folding them in half like so. And you pop them up into your vagina, imagine that's inside, and then it pops open. And the brilliant thing about that, as well as obviously catching your blood, and lots of other things, it's much more eco, obviously, but the thing I love about it most is that all these other bits of your vagina that's downhill of the seal can still make your normal vaginal secretions, which means that it's just really much more comfortable. If you have low flow and you're using a tampon or a towel, they can be really drying. Everyone knows that. All women have experienced that. Even if you have a high flow, you're going to have low flow days and it gets dry and uncomfortable. And this doesn't. This is so good in that respect. Now, it has lots of other benefits. Obviously, it's much more eco. It's made of silicone, so it is plastic, and it is going to end up in the landfill in the end. But they say 10 years on the packaging. I've had one for 12. I have two of them because I lost one once, and I've had that one for 12 years now, and I'm still using it. It looks fine to me. It's very what's the word? It's hygienic. Because what you do is you take them out, empty down the toilet, rinse out, give it a bit of a rinse with your fingers and pop it back in again when you're having your period. And then in between periods you boil it in a pan for a few minutes and that sterilises it. So you just keep using it and it's fine. When they come with a tail on them, a bit like a tampon string, so you can pull it out. I've trimmed mine off completely because I found it just felt like it was sticking in me. It was horrible. So I've trimmed it off completely. They do say on the packaging, trim to comfort. And so instead of grabbing the tail, you just reach up and grab the thing like that and pull it out, and that's fine. What else is there to say about it? Oh, you can't get toxic shock syndrome like you can with tampons because it's completely inert, whereas tampons have got bleach and things in them. They've also got plastic in them. They don't biodegrade, tampons. Oh, it's also easier. I think it's much easier than tampons because it's in there with you. You don't have to take spare around with you. So wherever you are, even if you're in a public loo, you can just take it out and empty it. You can give it a wipe with some toilet roll, I found, and then put it back in, and that's fine. You don't feel like you're wearing it. I always found, well, but you don't have to empty it as often either. That's the other thing. So you shouldn't really feel like you shouldn't really know that you're wearing a tampon, but you have to empty tampons quite often. These hold a lot more than a normal tampon does, and more than a sanitary towel as well. So you don't need to fuss with it so often. Whereas with tampons, you might have to change them every few hours. With this, well, I have a very low flow, as I say. I just change it morning and evening, empty it morning and evening. And if I'm on a particularly high flow day, which happens every now and then, I will empty it middle of the day as well. And that's it, that's all I need. So that works really well. It's great. Love it. Is there anything else to say about that? No, I don't think so. So the only other thing is that because I'm getting a bit older and things are heading south a bit, let's just say that, I've just bought to try a new type of cup, which is called a Ziggy cup. And this is made by Intima, and it comes in this little pouch, which is nice to store it in, and that's good. Instead of, well, it's, as you can see, it's just a different shape. So that goes all the way up and is much shallower but wider. I have tried that on. I haven't had a period yet since I've had it. I've only had it a few days, but I've tried it in, I should say, probably, and it was all right. It was a little bit more challenging to get it in because it's so big, it's huge, but then once it was in, it was really comfortable, and yeah, so that's that. Okay, so that's moon cups, or period cups, what they're called, menstrual cups, that's what people call them. So that's for ladies who've given birth. Now they do smaller ones. So this is 45 millimeters, not centimeters, that would be huge. 45 millimeters across on the diameter. They do make they all seem to be about that size, the big ones, and then all the manufacturers seem to do a smaller one, which is just 5 mil diameter smaller, which is not a lot. Still quite big if you haven't given birth. I don't know, that doesn't sound very comfortable to me, but anyway, lots of women who haven't given birth do use them. But Intima also make the Lily cup, which is a paler pink than this, and on their website they say instead of folding it up like these fold, you can do that, but if you want to, you can actually roll theirs up, because the top is not a thick top like this, which is like a thick rim, but theirs is just like folded over, so it's much lighter, and you can actually roll it up and pop it in, and they reckon it's only the size of a tampon. So all adult women, and probably even late teens, would be able to use that, I think. Early teens though, I would recommend period pants, and that's what we've bought for my daughter, and they are brilliant. They're by Modibody, and you've probably seen the adverts everywhere for them. Well, they pop up on my feed all the time, and they're really good. If you've used cloth nappies for your babies, then you can use period pants for your teenagers. It's very similar in that you give it a rinse in some cold water, and then I put it in a bucket of cold water until I've got enough to put in the washing machine. Put them in the washing machine on their own, and it's all good. It's much easier than nappies because there's no poo involved. It's just blood, and that's just, I don't think it's, for me at least, it's not nearly as disgusting, I don't think, as poo. Yeah, so that is what we're doing in our house, is moon cups or period cups, and period pants, and we're happy with that, and that's working. Cost wise, definitely the moon cups work out much cheaper quite quickly. You're going to get your money back. It's a bit of an investment. When I first got mine 12 years ago, it was only about 12 quid. They're more like 20 quid now, but and this huge one, it was 30 quid, but shop around, and the thing is, you're going to make your money back on that quite quickly, because each month you'll be paying, if you're using something disposable, you're going to be paying out each month, and that will add up quite, you only need one, and that will add up quite quickly. Period pants are more expensive depending on how many you get. Obviously one isn't much use. I got what I figured was enough that I could wash them and still get them back on her fast enough, and it cost me about £110. So I don't know how much absorbent disposable items are these days, because I've not bought them for so long, so you'll have to do the maths, I'm afraid, on how long that would take to get the money back, but I guess it's going to be less than 2 years, somewhere between 1 and 2 years, I would have thought. And they're definitely going to last longer than that, so I think it's worth the investment financially. But definitely in terms of the planet, it's a lot less resources that are being used, and nothing is being disposed of. Well, eventually, I suppose I'll have to dispose of this, but you know, compared to a sanitary towel, that's less than a sanitary towel, even just one, and I've saved thousands already. So yeah, so there are some other things out there which I haven't tried. There are reusable pads. I imagine they're quite bulky. The really cool thing about period pants is that they're really thin. In fact, they're much thin. They're even thinner than a disposable towel. Yeah, also you don't, again, like the Moon Cup, you don't have to change it as often as you do with a sanitary towel, which is really nice, makes life easier, particularly for teenagers. We've all been there, not had enough stuff with us, not remembered to change it often enough, all those sorts of things. So something that lasts for longer has got to be a good thing, in my opinion. There are reusable tampons, which you roll up and use. I guess that's fine if that's your thing, but if you're going to do that, I don't know why you wouldn't just do this. That would be drying still as well, a reusable tampon, and it didn't look like it would hold much, so I don't see any point in trying that personally. And there are some more eco-friendly tampons that are disposable if you want to do that, which don't have the plastic in. In this shop in Corsham I went to, Green Ginger, they had some of those there. And again, I'm not particularly interested in that because I have a solution. But yeah, so if that is something you're interested in, then shop around. There's loads of information out there on the internet. There's even a sort of quiz that you can do on the internet that tells you, that directs you to which type, which make, which brand of menstrual cup is going to be best for you. So I think that's great, and I love that we can talk about this as well. Yeah, okay, so the next video I'm going to make is going to be some of our zero waste fails. I'm going to call that You Win Some, You Lose Some. We've also been gardening and growing some of our own food, so those are the wins, and we're going to talk about some of the times we failed this month as well. There's still almost 2 weeks to go and I'm nearly out of coffee, so I might fail on that one too because I need coffee. Okay, see you soon.